back, everybody, to Joygasm, a video game and movie podcast. I'm Russ, Xbox Live Toaster 360. He is Steve, Xbox Live Stevavitch. And we come to you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed today. What is today, Steve?
Today is the 12th, I believe.
It is correct. March 12th, 2021. On episode 215, the big 215. We, first and foremost, have an apology to all of you. We actually were unable, meaning this guy was crazy busy last week, to be able to provide our normally weekly podcast. So for that, I am sorry.
No, you're not.
I am, Steve. I am truly sorry.
I believe you.
Lo siento. That's what I have to say about that. But no, actually, we are back and saucier than ever. So we are going to be able to continue going on from there. Another little note of interest is that we are having a little bit of technical difficulties with the audio version of Joygasm, a video game and movie podcast. So hopefully that will get resolved. Until then, you do have YouTube, you do have SoundCloud, and you do have, a little bit of the old social media goodness of the various excerpts and that sort of thing, which is always a good thing. Moving right along, we're going to be going into our typical howdy doody time before going into our topic of the day, which is the latest movie trailer reactions, which you can fast forward to if you look at the timestamps located in your detailed section of your favorite podcast provider. I am so happy to see you, Steve.
Are you?
I am indeed.
Is it because I'm not a computer screen and a mouse and somebody talking to you on Zoom?
Yes.
Giving you orders?
You are a, no one's giving me orders. It's more of a, there's a lot of work to be done, Steve. I feel accomplished. I feel proud.
Just not prideful, Russ. It's okay to be proud, just not prideful.
Exactly. No, I worked hard as well as everybody else on the team. We put in our due diligence, and we came up with some diamonds, Steve. Some diamonds.
Congratulations.
We're cutting, we're like... Ooh.
Oh, boy.
It's very nice. But what about you, Steve? How you been? It's been actually a couple of weeks since last time I saw you.
Hot minute.
Oh, it's going to get hotter in here with these lights.
Oh, boy. Don't you know it. I put on this shirt, Russ, and I thought halfway driving over here, maybe that was the wrong idea.
You look at the shirt
sleeves.
And I said to myself, mistake.
And that's when I did a donut in the middle of traffic and Fast and Furious did on the way home.
I was in the car when I realized I had this shirt on and nothing else.
And that's when I e-braked it, turned it, gunned it, flew it back home.
And that's when I thought to myself, would anybody care? Would it matter? No, it's good to see you.
Whatever, Russ. Anyway, so, what have you been playing with all that work you've been doing, huh? Anything at all?
Well, let's see. So during the last 2 weeks, it's been very few and far between. However,
that sucks.
I had today off, Steve. And I was able to actually get some good quality watching and a playing in.
Nice.
You know what?
No,
I want to lead off. Since apparently you are ping-ponging that ping pong ball back to me in terms of what I've been up to, I now realize why in episode 214, I was kind of off by a selection. If you recall, we were doing our most anticipated games of 2021. And I was like, looking at my list, I was thinking, why do I only have 9 games listed here? There should be 10. I told you 10.
You told me 10.
I did. And I actually did have 10. I forgot to actually put the 10th game into my list.
Was it one that I named?
It was not.
Oh, it was Snot?
It's Snot or Booger. But no, it was Shadow Warrior 3, which I'm not sure if you ever seen anything on Shadow Warrior 3 or not. I've never even played Shadow Warrior myself. Apparently there's like Shadow Warrior 1, Shadow Warrior 2, and this is the third installment that's supposed to come out in 2021.
Oh, I think I've seen this trailer.
It looks really, really good. I didn't even know that this series existed until I want to say midway through 2020, something like that. When this trailer dropped, I'm like, what is this? And I was watching it, and I absolutely love the main character. His sense of humor is right up my alley. And not only that, but the world itself, it's like some sort of like fantasy, ancient, feudal Japan type of environment that they're in. And so like you have the young guy there who's the protagonist, and the older guy is kind of like his buddy who they banter back and forth on, and he's kind of more of the grizzly stoic type, and he's one of the types who is very skilled at what he does, but also has a mouth almost like Deadpool in a way, which is really great in my humble opinion. So as you can see, like, his buddy gets trapped into this mask, and he has to try and rescue him. He's trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And I remember when this trailer came out, and I was struck by how long the actual trailer for this is. This first part, of course, is pre-rendered. It's kind of giving some exposition as to like where the story is at this point in time, and then it goes into more of a nice gameplay demo that showcases what you can expect in this type of game. So it's a first-person type of game. I don't want to call it a shooter necessarily, but it's definitely one of the things where like you essentially you have a sword predominantly throughout the whole entire game, which you can dispatch hapless enemies. And again, in terms of having like a first-person styled like FPS, but with a katana or sword, the melee combat has really started to come into its own just recently. I would say Cyberpunk was kind of like the first game that I played as an FPS, where when I was maining as like kind of a ninja using the katana in that game, that was really satisfying. Well, this game is very similar. I've not played any of the previous installments, but this is a game that I looked at, I was blown away. Like the graphics look absolutely stunning. And then as he gets into more of the fighting and battles, that too, I mean, like the different creatures and monsters and baddies and stuff that he's having to fight, plus a lot of the more imaginary, fantastical types of creatures that he's taking on as well. All of them have a very kind of real, like, bloody, gory juiciness, like as you're taking them on, which again, in terms of like the graphics fidelity, is really impressive. But it's a game that it's funny because it doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time it does, which I think is really cool. So you can see here, like, for instance, like he does in fact have certain types of firearms in addition to his katana. As you watch it, and he continues dispatching all of his little hapless foes and stuff. Like, there are different types of situations where you can actually grab some sort of like magical essence from some of these more supernatural looking characters and use that as a weapon. It's a lot of fun in terms of what I'm seeing. And again, this particular trailer goes on for quite some time. And which, again, it's impressive because it's not like it's like, oh, we'll just pump out like a pre-rendered cinematic and then people will get hyped over that. It's like, wow, this is actually something that is quite far along. I wish that you can actually hear some of the comments, because like it's part of the persona of this main character, where like depending on like what kind of action's going on screen, I mean, they have so many one-liners that they have created for the main character, and it's so funny to listen to. And you said you'd seen this trailer. Did I show this to you earlier last year?
Yeah,
you did. Anyway, I wanted to show that a little bit there, because that is supposed to be coming out in 2021. And I'm very excited for that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and especially when it comes to the fact that I haven't played the previous two installments of it. I mean, I'm hoping that it's going to be a wild ride.
It should be, Russ.
So, I mean, it's last but certainly not least, and I'm glad that I was able to kind of just bring it into the fold, Steve. I'm bringing it into the fold.
Well, that was quite the lengthy description there, Russ.
Well, again, I don't want to shortchange
Right.
a game that is on my most anticipated list, Steve. And so I had to make sure I give the due where the due is due.
Not the dewdrops, though.
Not the Mountain Dew. No.
Definitely not sponsored by Mountain Dew. They're not sponsored by Mountain Dew.
In addition to that, though, I mean, we played some Overwatch.
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
Man, we were
getting our fannies fanned.
We were indeed. Yeah, the booty smarted a bit after that night. That was, I think we won maybe 2 games out of like 2 hours worth of play. It's very humbling.
Had to get up and move around, get some blood back into the old keister.
Yes, exactly. I also was watching a couple of more episodes of WandaVision.
Okay.
I have 2 more episodes to go.
Okay.
The wife has now gotten into WandaVision. She's digging it as well, so that's really cool. And we are actually going to be doing our review of season 1 of WandaVision in 2 weeks. So this week, we have the movie trailers. Next week, we are going to be reviewing Raya and the Last Dragon. And then the week after that, WandaVision.
I can't wait.
I know. I know you're sitting there with bated breath over there, Steve.
Oh, my goodness.
Make sure you do your homework.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of Raya, that was something that I just watched today, actually.
Yeah, I watched
Checked it
that
out.
one on Wednesday.
Yeah, you beat me to the punch.
Yeah.
There was a lot of punching.
Kool-Aid. Yeah, there was a little bit here and there.
A little bit there. And
Animated.
here. What about you, Steve? What have you been
Well,
watching? What have you
Russ.
been playing, huh?
I had a little belated birthday gift I got to tell you about.
You and your birthday gifts. You got a nice new phone.
Yeah.
Now you got something else.
Yeah.
I think the old boy's getting spoiled.
Hey.
Turning the
How
old
you
4-0.
You only turned 40 once.
That's true.
So, last year, around this time, like the other birthday, Russ, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wifey got a deal and got a
deal, you say?
yes, it bought me some laps around a racetrack.
I was going to say, bought me some lap dances. It's like, well, this is going to be interesting.
No longer a family show.
I know.
And so I got to fly around a racetrack and driving a Nismo Nissan GTR. And the guy beside me's like, oh, turn, stop. Go. I'm like, okay. And I didn't die. Car was
Clearly.
awesome. So, anyhow, fast forward a year. And that was me going fast forward.
Strangely, I've sat in this chair for an entire year.
So, fast forward, Russ. Due to the virus, the other track has been closed down.
For good or just now?
As far as I know, just for now.
Hopefully just for now.
Still got a lease to pay on the place, though, so who knows how long that's going to be. Anyway, she got me a similar dealio at the Texas Motor Speedway. Which,
I have heard of this place.
have you?
I have.
A lot of history there, Russ. Carol Shelby, ring a bell?
I do recall a certain individual whose name starts with Carol and ends with Shelby.
So went there. That was amazing. Moving on. So I got to do a few laps, few as in 4, in a McLaren 570S.
That sounds incredible.
About as fast as the GTR. Off the line, it's a bit. The GTR beats it 0 to 60 time. 0 to 100 time, though, McLaren's got it beat. And it's lighter weight.
Ah.
But I will tell you, though, it feels. I do have more confidence in the GTR, Russ. GTR is all-wheel drive. It's a little heavier on the road, but it feels just more capable, is what it feels like. It feels like it's not going to kill you.
Well, the GTR was the Skyline?
Well, yes, in Japan it's the Skyline.
Yeah.
But, Skyline GTR. Yeah. Over here, it's just called the GTR, Russ.
Over here, it's called the Infiniti G35 Coupe.
Oh! Rewind 20 years. So anyway, it was friggin' phenomenal. The car just feels a little bit cheap on the inside. It feels kind of it's really lightweight, but like there's no resistance that much like to the steering wheel. And so when you're flying it down the corner, you can kind of fling it anywhere you want, which I don't really know if that's a good thing. I mean, maybe it's a good thing. I kind of like a heavier steering wheel, Russ. Anyhow, so that was pretty fantastic. That was awesome. You're going to like this part though. I did start season 2.
Season dose.
Of The Mandalorian.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, Steve.
I believe I'm on episode 5 now.
Wow. So you not only did you start it, I mean, you are into the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah, I've been watching a few of them.
You've gone beyond the appetizer and the salad. Now you're onto the main entree.
You know, they use a lot of actors and actresses that have been in other series.
Uh-huh.
What's her name? I can't even say it. Horrible names. I think it's Rosario Dawson. I could be mistaken. But the last movie that I saw her in was Daredevil on Netflix.
Okay.
She plays the nurse. And in this one, she plays a Jedi. A Jedi.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's pretty awesome, huh?
She was also in, I believe she was in that second Zombieland movie, I believe. Maybe I'm mistaken. I think I think she's in that one too.
You are correct.
And then she's also in The Rundown with The Rock. And the guy, Sean something, what's his face? He was the guy in American Pie who was Stifler. He was in that movie too.
Sean Astin, I believe. Is that who it is? No.
No, Russ. Completely different Sean.
What's his last name? I see his face.
Gosh.
It's not definitely it's not Sean Astin.
Definitely not Sean Astin.
A little late for trimming the veg, don't you think?
We'll find out here, Russ. The Rundown. Okay, his name is Sean William Scott.
Yeah, that's the Sean.
It's not gonna go in focus whatsoever. Sean William Scott, Russ. Oh boy.
It's like what a 5-year-old does to show their parents something. Yeah, look at this.
Daddy, see?
Oh my.
Yeah. So that's what's been going on. Plus, so last time I told you I was playing a little bit of Jurassic Park.
You did, and I actually did some research on that afterwards.
Did you?
Not a lot, just a little.
I don't think you'd like that game.
Okay.
The reason being is that it's kind of like an Xbox Live version of a mobile game. Because in the mobile game, a lot of mobile games, you're building a town, you're building a civilization. You're like, I'll make a building right there, and then maybe I'll make a street and some roads and whatever. That's like this game, except there's like 4 or actually 5 islands that you kind of do the same thing on that all kind of give you these different hurdles that you have to get through.
Right.
But it's the same buildings every single time, and you have to generate a bunch of revenue in order to go do an expedition to harvest some dinosaur DNA and then bring them back and hatch them and throw them out there so that people can so people get enjoyment and it attracts more people, and the whole thing kind of compounds on itself. I don't think that's your piece of pie.
That's okay. Is it your piece of pie? You're the one playing the game.
It's a temporary piece of pie.
If you had to compare it to an actual type of pie, what kind of pie would you compare it to?
Oh man.
Would it be a key lime pie?
Yeah. It would.
Or would it be a chocolate cream pie?
No.
Would it be a lemon meringue pie?
Maybe.
Would it be
yes.
a pumpkin pie?
No.
Would it be a pecan pie?
Perhaps. If you mixed a little bit of lemon and lime with a little bit of pecan.
What about an apple pie?
Definitely not.
You know, it's shepherd's pie.
Yes. Right.
There's a bit of that dino kind of texture in there. Huh?
Yeah, a little meat and potatoes, a little veggie tables.
You're eating it. You're not quite sure what it is you're eating, but you're like, I'll have some more. Thank you.
Tastes kind of hearty.
Indeed.
So, that's been a basic. Oh, you know what? We finished season 4 of The Sopranos. Now on season 5. You gotta watch that series. Man, the acting is good.
I'm sure it is.
It's so good.
Yeah. How many times have you watched The Sopranos seasons?
Once on my own, once with my dad, once with her, and now this is twice with us. So 4 times. All the way through. Yeah. And you know what, Russ?
Nice.
I'll watch them a 5th time if you want to go.
Excellent. I'm game.
I'll probably have to buy them on Blu-ray, though, because, the first season, or else we have to watch on HBO Max.
The way you fondle your DVDs, I'm not surprised. I like stick it in there. I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to look like this.
And that's funny because there's no smudges or like scratches on the DVD whatsoever.
Is there?
Yeah, it was literally like programmed wrong on the disc. I put it in multiple players. Look at it; it's in your closet. The disc is clean.
Yeah, I don't recall. I'll take a word for that one, Steve.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's been about it, Russ.
No, that's about it for you, huh, Steve?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. One more thing. I did play some Forza. I played some Forza the day I got home from driving in Texas Speedway, Motor Speedway, and I had in my garage already a McLaren 570S. And I'm here to say, a lot of cars in that game start to sound the same. That one is very accurate. From just sitting in the car with a helmet on my face and then going into the game to drive the car around a little bit inside the car and outside the car, it's pretty accurate, Russ.
Well, and I wouldn't say that it's any kind of detriment to Turn 10 Studios because they have an audio crew that goes out and like literally records like every single type of exotic car that's out there. It makes me wonder if it has more to do with how similar each car is tuned to the point where it's like, yeah, I could totally see, or in this case here, like how a lot of these cars would start sounding pretty similar just because they're all these like finely tuned performance engines and everything else. It's like, I think when I went to Laguna Seca several years ago in California, there were a lot of cars that were racing that they tended to sound pretty similar, but there were certain key cars that did not. Like the Viper definitely did not sound the same as the Ferrari or the Porsche, that sort of thing. So it's, yeah, I could understand that. But I'm glad that you were actually, it was almost like you were preparing yourself for the experience ahead. I'm happy for you on that there, Steve. Coming soon to a theater near you, it's time for the topic of the day. Our topic of the day is the movie trailer reactions.
By the way, if you didn't know what I was doing there, I was playing my nose trumpet.
I was wondering what you were doing. I was like, he's doing something. Not exactly sure. But now that you mention it, makes perfect sense to me.
Wanted to clear that up.
We tend to do this every now and then on the show where after a certain period of time has passed, there are a number of different movie trailers, high profile ones that we are collectively interested in checking out. And so we like to feature them on the show. We have, as a disclaimer, not seen, at least I hope you haven't seen it, I have not seen any of these movie trailers. The three that we are featuring are Mortal Kombat, the Red Band trailer. We have the Zack Snyder Justice League trailer. And we have the latest offering from Pixar called Luca. It's a teaser trailer. I have not seen any of these trailers. Neither has Steve. Have you seen them already?
Okay, so I did see part of the Mortal Kombat one, but that was before you told me. It might be a different trailer.
You see what I have to work with over here? You see what I have to work with?
I'm like, ooh, Mortal Kombat. Play.
Well, maybe you haven't seen this one because this is in fact the Red Band trailer. So let's give this a little look-see-loo, shall we?
First learned about this 7 years ago. On a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities. It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
These are your champions.
I'm Sonya. That's Kano.
I'm Luca.
Name's Jax.
Kung Lao. Lord Raiden. The fate of Earth is in our hands.
No matter how many of my people you put in the ground,
We will not fail.
kill them.
I am Sub-Zero.
Get over here! Finish them!
Kano wins. You fucking beauty.
Yeah, I saw that one.
You saw that one.
I saw
How
all
could
of
you?
it.
How could you, Steve?
I saw 100% of every second of that, Russ.
You failed me yet again, Starscream.
But the second go around wasn't that bad.
No, not at all. Okay, so
Yeah. Did you ever see the first one?
I did, yeah.
Did you, Russ?
I did.
Are you lying to me?
No, I'm not. I saw the first Mortal Kombat. You know, the one I never saw was Street Fighter with
I saw that one.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I
I've
saw
seen
that.
like little bits and pieces of that one. And I was like, yeah, I probably wasn't missing out too much on that. Like that's the kind of movie that you would watch and just kind of poke fun at.
Yeah. I mean, it was campy. It was whatever, but
But
yeah.
Mortal Kombat, like the first Mortal Kombat movie, was definitely like,
They did a lot with the budget they had. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. It wasn't
Yeah.
that bad.
yeah. So when it came to this particular trailer, I definitely appreciated the amount of sophistication and maturity with it. It was really cool, just in terms of the cinematography, the visual effects. I loved some of the cast in there. There was one gentleman, I don't know his name, but he was in The Last Samurai, opposite Tom Cruise.
No. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, exactly. And I was really happy. I think he's playing Scorpion, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's what I gathered. But anyway, all the rest of the cast looked really great. Raiden looked great. Sub-Zero looked awesome. I was happy to see Goro in there. Goro didn't look like he was some awful
Claymation, right?
Yeah, like I was thinking to myself, please don't be another Scorpion King. And he wasn't. I mean, from the brief shot that we were shown, I was like, okay, cool. I'm digging it.
The very slow motion worked for him in that shot.
The question I have, because what was interesting to me is that was considered a red band trailer, and I didn't really pick up on like things that would really necessarily cause it to be red band. Like I saw a little bit of blood here and there, that sort of thing. But I mean, I was expecting like fatality.
Not in a trailer.
Red band.
But in a trailer, they're not going to show like a fatality. I mean, come on, Russ. Well, you actually did see something.
Yeah.
You saw what looked like
maybe
the beginning of a beginning.
True.
Of a fatality.
Very true. And it said it was coming out April 16th. Well, I do believe that is going to be a movie we are reviewing in the near future.
You might have to come over for that one.
Or you might have to come over for that one.
Why don't you come over instead, Russ?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Are you looking forward to it?
I am. Yeah.
I'm
looking forward to you coming over and watching it. Yeah.
That's not what I'm referring to, Steven. You know it.
We'll have some Pepsis, some Cokes, some Sody Pops.
I am curious though, how many fatalities they're going to show.
Oh yeah.
And are they going to limit it to just fatalities? Will we see some brutalities? Will we see some babalities? I don't know. It's Mortal Kombat.
We'll see. No, okay, yeah.
What, Steve? What is it?
No.
What is it, Steve?
No, they'll probably show like 6 or 7. I mean, they're not going to show a ton of them. Come on.
You don't think so?
Nah.
I mean, even 6 or 7 would be not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Anything that you didn't like about what you saw?
No, I wanted to see more lightning stuff happen with Raiden.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of that.
Yeah, I like lightning, Russ. Big fan.
I wouldn't worry about that. Not at all.
But you liked it, right?
I did. Yeah, no, I was very curious to see how it's going to be. You know, gaming is in I would say a positive state as it applies to movie adaptions at this point in time. Like Sonic the Hedgehog movie actually was it was a good film. Like I was entertained by it, enjoyed it. And especially considering that like, I mean, a game like Sonic is not necessarily like story heavy.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, I would argue, because they have spent a lot of time building up the backstories of these characters, the relationships, the conflicts, everything else. You know, I expected it to be a bit more. And in this kind of situation, though, because it is a fighting game, it is, I don't know, it's a bit of a challenge to like, okay, how can we make this so that it's taken seriously? Like it doesn't have that campiness from the efforts that went into video game to movie adaptions in like the 90s and so forth.
Well, I think if they were to do that, they couldn't, they would have to like have a very small roster of characters that they put in. Because I can't remember every single character available in Mortal Kombat. I played it again and be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. Oh yeah. But I mean, when I watch the movie, I'm gonna go, okay, who's that? Johnny Cage. Yeah, cool. And then who's that? Like after like the 24th character, you start to kind of fade out. Yeah. So if they leave it like around like maybe 10, and then they concentrate on all those stories, like no more than 10, and then they go next movie to a few more, like they start throwing more in there, then I think that could be a way they could concentrate more on the story, have it not be so kind of corny, cheesy.
You won't feel as overwhelmed.
Won't feel so overwhelmed. But you know what? You know, now that I think about it, I would have liked to see some more fighting. I mean, everybody was fighting, but it was more like, oh, here's a cool move I'm going to do with ice. Oh, here's a cool move I'm going to do with fire. Oh, here's a cool move. But it wasn't like martial arts stuff. You know, that would have been cool. See, I'm sure they'll have it in the movie.
They'll have it in spades.
Yeah, they'll have it in jokers, hearts, clovers, and stuff. Yeah,
shurikens.
Yeah,
they'll have it in blood. That's what it is. Our next trailer we're going to look at is the Zack Snyder Justice League trailer. This is a particular project that Zack Snyder has been on. In case you have not heard,
I haven't.
I know you haven't, because you live under a rock. Anyway. if we rewind the clock back to when the original cut of Justice League was released in theaters, Zack Snyder was behind it. He was directing it. He had a family tragedy, unfortunately. And Joss Whedon came into the fold and kind of tidied it up. I think he came in and it was about halfway to 3/4 done, and he ended up doing quite a bit. And so this was Zack's opportunity to be able to go back in and say, hey, I'd love to be able to tell my side of the story in 100% of the time. It's been in development for quite some time. I want to say, like, the movie itself, isn't it like almost 3 hours long or something?
It's up there, Russ.
I mean, it's pretty far up there. So let's take a look and see what we think of this particular offering.
The bell's been rung. Out in the dark, among the stars, the god is dead.
I had a dream. Almost like a premonition. I think there's an attack coming.
My lord, this world will fall.
I need warriors. I'm building an alliance to defend ourselves.
How do you know your team's strong enough? If you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it.
You were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
It will. It has to.
We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. Isn't that right, Batman?
So this is coming out actually next week. I had no idea that it was coming out so soon.
Me neither.
What'd you think?
I think it's a little, well, of the trailer, I think it's a little bit too action-packed. And that makes me nervous because when they show you all these different action scenes in a trailer, instead of building up the story and the suspense and everything, it's like, oh, here's action sequence after action sequence after action sequence. And it just seems like it. I mean, I just think about this here for a second. Usually when that happens, they show you all the good stuff in the movie, and then you think, okay, well, that looks pretty darn exciting. And then you watch the movie, and then those were like the really good parts of the movie, and the rest of the movie falls apart. That's what I'm afraid of in trailers like that. So hopefully it's not the case. I mean, I wasn't really impressed with, what was it, the last kind of band of DC roundabout folks getting together and making a movie.
Are you talking about the original Justice League movie?
Yeah, I mean, well, plus like with the latest Wonder Woman wasn't that great. I mean, I'm not a Batfleck. I'm not really a fan of. So I mean, this has got some stuff against it.
If I were to continue where you left off right there, there are certain things that I do think that is a challenge for this film. Like, for instance, number one, everyone has already seen the first iteration of Justice League. And one of the main issues with that film was the villain. The villain really just didn't
I forgot who the villain was, honestly.
Yeah, it was a forgettable villain. It was not a villain that was very well fleshed out. I didn't have really much of a sense of dread whenever that villain was on screen. Like if I were to compare that particular, like I don't even remember what the villain's name is in the Justice League film. However, Thanos is a villain that terrifies me. Like when I'm seeing the Mad Titan on screen, that is something that is much more.
He's terrifying, Russ.
Oh yeah, like the fact that like the idea being, and we've talked about this in the past, where he in his mind believes he's doing the right thing, and that's a very, very terrifying notion that ending half of all life in the universe, he feels like he's doing everybody a solid. You're like, wait,
I'm sorry. Hold on. Can we talk about this for a moment? I think that's wrong.
Nope. Yeah. Dang it, he snapped his fingers again. Anyway, I do think that in this kind of situation with Justice League, I think that it's going to be something that I'm looking for when I do in fact watch, because I'll watch the Zack Snyder cut and see what all he's put in there. Apparently he's put quite a bit. And one of the things that I thought was really cool was the kind of the last scene that you see where they actually brought Jared Leto back in to play Joker again during what it looks like it's Bruce Wayne's nightmare sleep sequence, his dream sequence. So I think that that's actually really cool of Zach to bring Jared back in, because I feel like Jared hasn't really gotten like
proper.
Yeah, like he's a talented actor, and I feel as though he really hasn't gotten like a fair chance to really explore the character. He may not be in this film for very long, but hey, I would rather have what they're able to offer us than nothing at all. I think that that's really cool. And honestly too, like looking at Jason Momoa, looking at Gal Gadot, you see the cast, like it's one of those things that harkens back to when I first saw the first iteration of Justice League, which is I really do genuinely enjoy watching these people on screen. And I do enjoy the chemistry that they had in certain parts. Like I don't feel like they were at the same level as the Avengers. Like the Avengers really, they nailed down the formula. They nailed down the chemistry between the various characters, that sort of thing. And I do believe that with Joss at the helm there for a bit, he was able, because that's kind of like his one of his gifts is like he's able to build and these kind of relationship bridges between characters, these understandings and stuff in a way that's just fun. So it's gonna be interesting to see how much of that remains versus how much Zach has removed. And again, it's a movie that like for instance, like you brought up, like Ben Affleck is not my favorite Batman. I personally prefer Michael Keaton or Christian Bale as Batman. So yeah, there's going to be different types of things that just going into it, I know is going to be there. So it's like, okay, well, that's what's to be expected. I want to see though what all has come forth that is new, just because from what I hear, I mean, it sounds like Warner Brothers has ponied up additional funds for all the different types of shots.
But shots aren't everything, Russ. It all comes down to script and story, and there's a bunch of other stuff that just polish.
I will say that one thing that is encouraging was there seemed to be more exposition regarding the villain. If you notice, there were several shots like we got to see kind of who he answers to in his realm. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was neat to be able to see a bit more of like the culture and just the realm of where he comes from. So maybe they spent some adequate amount of time actually making this character a bit more fleshed out. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I'm just not going to put all my cards on the table now. I'm going to hold some back because I don't want DC's done me dirty quite a few times. So I don't want to have my hopes like way high for this one, and then something happens like the last Wonder Woman, and then I'm going to get kicked down to the curb again. I'd rather keep my hopes low and then go, wow, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, than keep my hopes high like it's going to be freaking awesome, and then come out of the theater like I want my money back. Gotcha. Come out of the theater, I mean like ask HBO Max for my money back.
Well, okay, and that was a good thing to remind me about as well, which is the fact that in terms of where you can see this, if you have HBO Max, I believe it's free. I don't think they're going to be charging any kind of like premium price or anything like that. Unlike Disney Plus.
Disney flimsy.
So anyway, we'll watch it. We'll review it.
Sure.
And you can hear all about it and see all about it on that particular episode of Joygasm. Last, but certainly not least, on the trailer reactions is the Disney and Pixar Luca. Let's take a look.
We can go anywhere, do anything. We just gotta stick together.
We underdogs have to look out for each other, right?
Underdogs. This is gonna be the best summer ever. We'll ride down every road. See the whole world together. It'll be amazing. But there's just one thing.
Whoa. Whoa, wait! Did you see that?
No one can find out.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
Where did you boys say you were from?
Luca. What did you think of that one?
The animation seems a little bit different for that film than other Pixar, or at least the art style. Maybe I'll put it that way.
The art direction, is definitely a departure from what we're used to from Pixar. Yeah.
Story looks interesting, I guess. Seems kind of lighthearted, kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious where it takes place.
It looks like it's Italy, maybe. That's what I mean. That doesn't look like it's around here, right?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. That's why I was asking. I'm unfamiliar. I have to do some research on that.
Why don't you do some research? I want to do a little study project on it, Russ.
I'll do that, Steve. I thought that in terms of like who's behind it, the creators of Coco, which is great. We've been having nothing but love for Coco, as well as Toy Story and others. I thought that was nice to be able to see like who among the Pixar team is actually is having a hand in this or ownership. The visual style, man, I'm glad that they're kind of thinking outside the box, that they're exploring different types of art styles, like you said, art direction on it. Again, it's a Pixar film, so like regardless of like how stylized they decide to make the visuals, it still looks amazing, and it's just going to continue to be that way. I'm a little confused about the premise though, in terms of like you have these friends who apparently like are aquatic creatures or something,
or they don't know they're aquatic creatures. Aquatic creatures. I'm wondering if it almost seems like they're reincarnated or something, because they don't know this happens. And then the way they were falling at first off that ramp and their bike, it looks like they're about to hit the rock. And they don't hit the rock, they get in the water, but that was quite the drop too. That wasn't like just jumping in the water from 6 feet tall. I mean, that was like they were flying with the seagulls and then they dove. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's kind of what it seemed like.
Well, I don't think they were trying to commit suicide.
No, I'm not saying they were trying to commit suicide. Where are you going to get that, Russ?
Well, I'm trying to follow you.
So they were riding down the hill in that moped, right, and they hit the ramp and they go sky high, like really high altitude in the air, and then they fall quite the long distance into the water. And it looks like they were about to hit the rock, and then it shows them being submerged in water. But I'm wondering if that maybe, I don't know about killed them or something, but I mean, they didn't know they had this ability, and then they had this ability. It just makes me wonder if something happened falling too hard in the water. I don't know, Russ.
Maybe they belly flopped a little too hard.
Yeah.
You never know. Well, we'll have to wait until the official trailer comes out. I personally didn't get like any kind of like reincarnation vibes or anything like that. I got more of a, this is their secret, whether or not they discover it together by happenstance, or if they've always known, and this is just kind of like, oh, let's go jump in the water and be aquatically awesome. You know, like it's just going to kind of depend on that.
Let's be masculine.
Well, and I don't even know if it's like, if they're secretly like mermen, or if it's like, if they're supposed to be like seahorses.
I'm a closet mermaid.
I do think it is cool in terms of like where they started out, right? Like the village itself, you can tell it's one of those harbor, definitely trading of the seafood, you know, butcher, that sort of thing. So there is that kind of contrast between that versus them. And I think in terms of like what we saw briefly, like where, again, I don't know if are they friends or brothers? I couldn't quite tell.
I don't know.
I'm going to go with friends. I think they were friends.
Buddies. Homies.
I do think it was funny though how one of them accidentally knocked his glass over, and it like kind of like halfway splashed his face, and so then you saw kind of like the real side or whatever. So yeah, I think in terms of like the various types of scenarios that they find themselves in, I think that could actually be pretty comical and amusing. It's just I'm wondering about what is the overarching kind of theme or purpose.
Well, there's not much of a story there too. I mean, if you think about what was the one with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland that didn't come out too long ago? What was that one? The Onward. I mean, if you watch that trailer, I mean, they definitely tell you a lot about the story, about what to expect on the adventure.
Yeah.
This one, it doesn't really tell you much. So, not like this is the end all trailer. I'm sure there's going to be a second one, maybe a third one, but wasn't a whole lot to gather out of this one.
Well, yeah, this is just a teaser trailer, so it's just meant to make an impression, and then they'll come back with more of the exposition. Out of the 3 movie trailers that we did see just now, which one was your favorite?
Luca.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that one made me feel the best. You know, Mortal Kombat, it's a real toss up. It's either going to be like, you know, kind of like Street Fighter, or it's not going to be a movie of like the year. You know, like it's not going to be like crazy good. It's either going to be like, I'm eating a bunch of popcorn, you see that sort of thing, or it's
which is a good thing.
Which with that kind of movie, yes, it would be a good thing, but it's probably not going to be on my top 10 list. Justice League, don't have to be the dead horse on that one. I'm just gonna see what happens. But yeah. Luca, it's an open door. I mean, Pixar's got a great rep. They've had some of their, not every single movie they come out with is fantastic, but they definitely have a lot going for them. I would say the most going for them out of the 3 trailers.
Right on. Very nice. I'm going back and forth. I can't decide between Mortal Kombat and Luca. I think because I understand Mortal Kombat a bit more at this point than I do Luca, I'm going to hand it to probably my favorite was the Mortal Kombat trailer. It's just always a pleasure to be able to see some of the high profile, iconic gaming characters on the silver screen, so to speak. And that's not to say that Luca could eclipse it once the official trailer comes out. I was just still kind of wrestling with, okay, again, what is the theme? What is the overarching story that's going on with the whole thing? It's Pixar. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Well, that wraps up this episode of Joygasm. Make sure you tune in next week when we give our movie review of Raya and the Last Dragon. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this episode, we invite you to check out patreon.com/Joygasm and consider becoming a monthly contributor. You get exclusive perks and early access to the show. Not to mention, it helps us continue doing all of this. You can also follow us on social media and YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. Last but not least, you can do also a search for us on Twitch. Just do a search for Joygasm TV as we stream our gaming adventures live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. We will all look forward to seeing each other again,
especially you,
next week.